Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. Now that the Derek Carr rumors have seemed to settle down, we're going to take a look at what the Raiders should do with Marcus Mariota. For this review, we're going to use the same template as we used in that Derek Carr video, whether or not he should stay or go, amongst all those trade rumors. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the description below. And the first reason I want to get into, I think is pretty obvious, and that's insurance for Derek Carr itself, for injury, what have you, and also to give him a push. Now, Derek's been relatively durable since that 2016 leg injury, but also to give him a push. I think, especially this season, I think he kind of needed that, and I think he felt Marcus kind of breathing down his neck a little bit in the last offseason. And it was kind of shown, I think, during the Charger game when he went out with a groin injury, he came right back and started the next week. And you could tell he wasn't 100%, but, would he have come back if, say, Nathan Peterman was his backup? I don't know. But again, I think competition is good in general. It's an old saying by philosopher Seneca, where he says excellence withers without an adversary, and I truly believe that, and I think he does need that push at times. And I think keeping Mariota would make sense if you want to utilize that run pass option he brings to the table that Derek doesn't really have. That he can scramble, but not like Marcus. There are some in Raider Nation that feel that Marcus is actually the #1 quarterback and is better than Derek Carr. I think that's a bit premature, especially given he only came in one game in relief. Again, I do agree he does provide that run pass option wrinkle to his game that Derek doesn't have, but I'm not going to say he's better than Derek Carr. The last reason I want to talk about is the uncertainty of the times we live in right now, and with COVID. Say, for example, this is going on during next season and Derek tests positive and he's out for 2 games, I would much rather have Marcus Mariota than a Nathan Peterman starting and basically maybe even throwing away those 2 games, which could be the difference between making the playoffs and not. I think the biggest reason for me to trade Mariota right now is what I call cost of value. He's due over $11 million next year, and the way the Raiders use him, which is basically not at all just a straight backup, it doesn't make any sense to me. He'll be the second highest paid backup in the league next to Taysom Hill, and even the Saints use him on some RPO options. I think $11.4 million is way too much for basically a glorified clipboard holder. Speaking of contracts, this kind of ties in. He's in his last year. He signed a 2-year deal. And seeing the market value in this offseason for quarterbacks, I'm not saying we can get like 2 #1s for him, like the Lions got for Stafford, but maybe a second or a third round pick or a package with other players is more viable. So if you feel that you're going to move on from him anyway, why not ship him now and get some value for him before he goes next year? This could be the most important reason of all, at least from a team perspective. If you do decide to move Mariota, you're making a statement that Derek Carr is your guy. Now, Gruden's been there for 3 seasons now. This is his 4th offseason. And every offseason we hear all these rumors about Derek Carr is not his guy. They're going to move on from him, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, it's time to shit or get off the pot here. If he's your guy, move Mariota on as a sign and a statement that we have some stability at the QB1 position. Last thing I want to talk about as far as moving Marcus Mariota is this rumor that's going around that we could possibly move him to the Patriots in a deal for Stephon Gilmore, cornerback. And the deal that I've been hearing is that it would be Mariota and a 3rd for Gilmore and a 6th. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound too bad, to be honest. However, if you look at Gilmore, he was Defensive Player of the Year in 2019, but 2020, he didn't have a very good season. He missed 3 games from a knee injury, and then he tore his quad in week 15. And, he's no spring chicken. He's 30. He's going to be 31 about the time the season starts in September. So are we kind of seeing maybe a possible regression? You know, are we going to plus I've said this before with Belichick, it seems that Belichick's and the Patriots have gotten the best of us. I know Gruden wasn't here at the time, but like the Randy Moss deal, uh, Richard Seymour, we gave up a first for. I mean, he was a good player, but I don't think at that point in his career he was worth a first. Uh, and also, Gilmore is due $16 million. Okay, so if you play out this scenario, say we do straight deal, and Patriots take the 11 million from Mariota, we get the 16 million on our books for Gilmore. Plus, we're also going to have to get a number two quarterback. I know Gruden's not going to roll with two quarterbacks next year, so I would think maybe 5 or 6 million for an average backup. So we're looking at a net loss in our salary cap of 11 million when I know if Gilmore is back and if he's healthy and if he can play to that same level, that would be a lockdown on that side, but we're still 11 million down and we still have more holes on the defense. So I would kind of go against that for all those reasons. I think the best option for the team, especially since we don't really use Mariota other than a conventional backup, would be to move him. I don't like that Gilmore deal, as I stated before. I would be more inclined to trade him straight for like a second or a third to a team like Chicago or Washington, and use that cost savings. I would probably have to sign a backup. Obviously, we're not going to roll with two quarterbacks. Maybe 5 or 6 million for an average backup quarterback, and then use that cost savings to apply it to the defense. So I'd like to know what you have to say about this. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching and supporting this channel, and as always, go Raiders.